Hi guys, welcome to the Rustic Blueprint video. Today we are making a rabbit. So if you did not know, Easter is early this year. It's the end of March. So when you've got your kids picked up or they got delivered to you, you have this nice little diagram in here to tell you what colors that you're needing to finish your bunny. And I'm going to switch it up a little bit with you guys today because I'm going to use a different color and we're going to see if we like that or not. And then also we have a new format for our website. So the instructions are super simple, super easy. If you have any questions, please just call me, and my telephone number is area code 308-870-0518. The steps are so easy. Mindy gave you nice little steps to be able to go ahead and continue. If you want to continue, which we hope you do, this is a format you have to do to be able to stay on board, because what we had prior we're not using anymore. So this is the way that we're going to move forward. And this time it'll just automatically charge your card the 15th of each month. And then of course your Rustic Blueprint box will be coming to you between the 1st and the 5th of each month. So you got this cute little piece of paper and we got all of our colors. So we've got the bleached sand, we've got the heritage brick, and this is what I painted the heart, and I'm going to do his cheeks with this color. And then we've got the cotton candy, this is his cheeks. We have the burnt orange for the carrots. We've got our lush green for the top of our carrots. And we've got our black just for his little squiggly, or if you want to give him whiskers. But I'm going to switch it up on you guys today, and I just did one of our DIYs, and this is the chalk paint that I've also bought in a Hobby Lobby, and it is 51049 Foggy Brumic, and I'm going to make him to be a gray bunny. And if you saw, you got your candy and you got your ribbon to go around your ear for his bow. Now, if you don't want to do the bow with that color, it's fine. This is what he turned out like. This is your bunny, and this is with the bleached sand. And if you want to put a bow around his neck too, you can. If you want to put the heart up even higher. And this is where I positioned my carrots. You may pick a different spot where you want your carrots, totally up to you. And the other thing that you do need is your 3M hand sander to go ahead and do that also. So let's go to town and let's start painting. Oh, and you're gonna need your foamies. And this is what I painted my heart and I painted my carrots with. So make sure you have your little sponges when you're gonna paint those, because it makes it so much easier, and it's just so much easier. Now, if you notice, we have some burnt edges on here, and this is from the laser, and then we also use the bandsaw. So this one you are going to have to paint the top and the sides, which you would anyway, because this little guy is going to go in your house on a shelf or on your kitchen table, or maybe you have a dough bowl. He'd be really cute on a dough bowl. Okay, so let's get some of this chalk paint out. And remember, your paint brushes, whatever is going to work for you, is what you will want to use for yourself. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with his feet, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick some of that paint up, and I'm going to paint the top and the sides. Now, if you get some on the back, it doesn't matter because it's going to hide. You're going to go in and you need your good glue. Hopefully I have good glue. And you're going to need your rapid fuse glue to be able to glue all of your items on him so they stay nice and tight. And if you have a better glue that you like, that's fine. This is just the one that Minnie and I prefer because it does just attach very quickly and it dries fast also. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a coat. Like I said, I'm going to make my bunny gray this time, and you can do whatever color you want. You can do a black bunny if you want a black bunny, which he would be cute. You could do a brown bunny. You could do a white bunny. And then again, when you're painting these, you need to make sure that you're painting with the grain of the wood to make your brush strokes nice and smooth. Okay, we got our feet, our first coat on our feet. And then you're just going to go and you're going to start wherever you want to start. You can start at the top, the bottom. And if you want to, and if you're going to be able to, if you're going to see the front or the back side of your bunny, make sure that you paint the back of the bunny too. Because if you don't know where you're going to put it, just go ahead and just paint the back while we're at it. And that way he's got a nice finished look to him. But again, if you know where you're going to put him and you don't want to paint the back, don't do it. And then I'm just going to keep pulling the sides. Keep painting all the sides. I should stop so I can get... We are going to sand this, so it's not going to be perfect. So I'm just going to keep doing the edges of this first, because this will start drying. But since we're going to do the edges, we're going to sand the edges, and if I get a little bit of a lip of paint, it's okay, because we're going to go ahead and sand that off. If we were not going to be sanding it, I would highly suggest to paint the sides and the top at the same time, because once you get a big old drip, it is really hard to clean that up if you're not going to make it look a little bit of a rough look. And the other thing with this being black, your edges of it being black, if you are going to paint your bunny white, it's going to probably take 4 coats for sure to paint that, to cover where it kind of burned a little bit. Minnie said it took all day to cut these bunnies out for you guys. She said, that's all I did all day was cut bunnies. Okay. Which, not saying she didn't like it. It just took longer than what she thought. Okay. I almost have the first coat all the way around. And then we're going to do a coat on the top, and then we're going to dry it, see what it looks like. The other thing is, remember, we are going to rough this up with sandpaper. If you want to show some of your paint or your wood to come through as you are sanding it, you may just want 1 coat. And also remember, chalk paint is thicker than acrylic paint. So really, as I'm doing this, I'm going to be honest with you, I am not going to do another coat with this, because it is doing a very nice job of covering. And as you can tell right now, I'm just taking that brush and I'm just touching up in those darker spots to make sure it's covered well. But chalk paint, I really love chalk paint. I really do. Especially if it's in a color scheme that I'm liking. Now see how that covered up pretty well? Now in that spot, I'm just going to take it one more time. And I can tell you the feet got a little more brown on the edges than the bunny did. So just take that and just run that brush one more time over. Okay, those are done. And I'm just going to pull that over the top just so I can get those other bubbles off. Now just go ahead and take your paintbrush and go right along. And again, with the grain of the wood, and I believe all the bunnies, the grain is going this way. I got little Miss Bella down here with me today, and she's doing a really good job. Sophie's upstairs. Okay, we're almost done with our bunny. And I'm going to say, once we get this painted and it's dry, we're going to go and just sand it. And that way our bunny is ready. And then we'll move to our carrots. Now I'm going back over inside of here, because where it was really, really dark, the one ear, it was a little bit darker on the inside than the other, so I want to make sure they do look a little bit on the same coverage. And then I'm just going to pull this one more time if I have any little bumps. Okay. I kind of like him gray. What do you guys think? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have just a little bit of this, and I'm going to put it back in my jar so we don't have any waste. And again, this is chalk paint, and it worked great on this. Just super good. Okay, we're going to go and we're going to dry this really quick. If you don't have a dryer yet, I would highly suggest to go buy one. This one's just from Menards here in town. Maybe $20, but it's a really good investment. Now if you can see right here, this got a little bit heavy when I was pulling that over. So always make sure to double check your little drips. And that way it'll dry good. And when you're drying, you have to be really careful not to get it too close and leave it there too long, because what will happen is that it will actually burn the paint. This baby's got some meat to it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our hand sander and we're just gonna go to town and we're gonna sand the edges of this. And remember, just go straight up and down. And you can make your strokes with your sand block heavier in some spots than the other. Again, it's just totally your preference. And no matter what the grain wood was when we were painting, you want the paint to go the same direction, but when you're sanding, you want to go straight up and down. So only painting with the grain of the wood, sanding same direction. Then if you want to, on the edges of that, go ahead and take that just a little bit and scuff up. And you can run it sideways. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, now we're gonna go do the same thing. I'm gonna start at the top, I'm gonna work that way, and then I'm gonna go this way. And then go ahead and tilt your sand block to get in those tighter corners, and then just keep going back and forth. And this is where you're going to have to get a little bit of muscle, and you're going to put a little texture, a little bit of roughness to it to get that look that you're wanting. I think my paper's trying to fall off. There we go. And again, I did take it just a little bit and just went along. Super easy. It will get a little bit messy, but that's okay. There's always cleanup in the craft aisle. Okay, I think that looks about what I'm wanting. How do you guys think that looks? I really like this color. I really like this color. Now, if you may want to, since you've done that, just take a dry paper towel and just wipe the perimeter where you just sanded and get all that excess off so it's ready for us to glue. Okay, so I'm just gonna put him right here. And that way he is ready for us to assemble once we get our carrots and our heart done. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's do our carrots. And again, we're going to use that burnt orange. Get all three of them here. And we're going to use our sponge. And remember, when we're using our sponge, we just pull and we tap. And then you're just going to take it. And if you don't have sponges and you want to go ahead and just use a paintbrush, you're more than welcome to do that too. It doesn't have to be the sponges. I just like the sponges. They're so easy. They're clean. They're not messy. There's no drips. And it just makes a nice coverage of what you are going to be painting. If you just need a few, I believe you can find them in the beauty department at any of your local stores, Walmart, Target, Walgreens. If you're going to use a lot of them, I would definitely go on Amazon and buy them in bulk, because we definitely go through a lot of them. Now, after you've done all three, you should be able to go right back over and do another coat. It dries really fast because it's such a thin coat of paint. And 2 coats is all you're going to need. And just remember, when you're doing that, don't push really hard, because the paint that is in there will actually squeeze out. It's kind of like, I mean, it would be like putting paint in a wash rag and you push through and it's going to probably wring out of there. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take the green. And I'm actually gonna take one that I've cut in half because we have such more fine, we have more detail work to have to be working through. And you just saw what I just did. I flipped that where my sanding, where my debris is, and it just stuck to my wet paint. So I'm gonna dab some more on there. And if you want them to be perfect, you can go right along the line and you can get a paintbrush and go exactly, you know, for that spot, but I don't. So I'm just going to just do a little bit of coverage over. And as you saw, I just went over a little bit here and a little bit there, and that will cover. And again, just take some more of your paint and just keep dabbing till you get the consistency of what you're wanting. And remember, we are also going to sand these with our sanding block. So we want to make sure they are definitely dry before we start. Otherwise, if we have some of our orange and our green still damp, it's going to carry through. So before you start sanding them, you want to make sure that you are definitely dry. Okay, so now just one more coat of our green. And if you could tell, I still had plenty of paint in there, so I was able to go across just easily. Okay, so there are those. And I'm going to go ahead and paint my heart. And I'm going to just put that in there. And it doesn't matter what side of the heart you want to do. If you want the bump on the right or the bump on the left, it doesn't matter. There's no wrong side or right side. It's the same thing. Just depends on if you want your bump on the right or on the left. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is, since we just have this little nose and we just got in using this, just cut that part off. And then you have your tip for your nose. And that baby is just going to take a little bit of paint. Again, just dab. And if you don't want to do a light pink nose, you can do his nose the same color as we did the heart. It's totally up to you. I'm going to do one more coat here. And then we're going to go back to our nose. We're going to do one more coat, and then we're going to dry all the pieces, and then we're going to sand them. The lighter pink may need one more coat, so that one would be one that would be your own judgment. But again, we are going to sand it. So I'm going to put him in here. Okay. We're all done with these, so let's get all this out of the way. And let's take our sandpaper. And then we're just going to sand. And if you want to lay it down, you can. If you feel like you're going to get a little bit better coverage, then just go straight up and pull that down to get at the top. Again, just up. And before we put this baby together, we're going to get rid of this catch-all little spot here. I'm just picking it up just because my sandpaper wants to grab my potty pad that we use for our potty pads. Work great for when we're doing crafts like this because it's easy cleanup. You just pick it up and go throw it away in the trash can. Okay, and then we have our heart. And the other thing is, I did use Spanish moss on mine, just because I thought it needed a little bit more fullness on it. And then our nose. This time I'm going to lay down. And the other thing is, if you're sanding and you get too heavy in an area, just go ahead and go back over it again in another spot. And if you really don't like the way it turned out at all when you sanded it, just repaint it and do it all over again. Okay, so again, I'm going to wipe all these off. And just use a dry paper towel to get that extra paint and sawdust off. And I'm just going to go ahead and remove this from our workspace just because it is messy. Okay. So now what we're going to do, and we're going to take a small brush, and I may make his nose. So here's his heart. I'm going to start with the light pink, but we may go over with the burgundy. Kind of know where your nose is going to be. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with the paint. Here's a dab. And keep dabbing and kind of know where your nose is going to be. And I'm going to dry. I think this is too pink. So I'm going to take that same brush. I'm going to get that color mixed up in there. Then I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go over it. With this gray, his cheeks definitely need to be darker. But if you see here, now we have a two-tone for his cheeks. And then you could just keep building those cheeks up for as big as you want and keep taking your nose and putting it back on. Always, always put the nose on, put the cheeks on first before you glue the nose down. Definitely you have to do that. Okay, guys? Okay, so since our cheeks are done, I'm gonna go ahead and glue his nose down. And that way that can be drying. Remember, when you put that baby down, it's done. You don't have very much time to let it move. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna put his heart maybe just a little bit higher up here. And I'm gonna glue the heart on because we know where that's gonna be, okay? About right there. It'd be really cute if you had like a little strand of pearl necklace or whatever. Some little pearls. It would be so cute on the bunny. Okay. So now that we have those two in place, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the feet and we're going to glue them on. And the feet, okay, that's dry. So the feet assembly is either you can put your feet farther apart or you can keep them closer together. Now remember, we're going to glue the feet have to go on before the carrots. So go ahead and we're going to stand him up. So there's one. And there's two. Now you want him to stand up while those are drying. And then kind of know that you've got him positioned about right. And you have to have these drying while he's standing up so he'll stand up on his own. If you put your feet on and you leave him laying down and his feet are not level, he's not going to stand for you. So this is a crucial part when you are gluing your feet on, okay? Okay, feet are ready. Done. Okay, perfect. Okay, now it comes time for the carrots. This is where you just have to play around just a little bit and always put your big one on first. And so what I did with mine is I actually put mine right here. Okay, and you're going to glue that one on first. Put a little bit down here to attach that there. And you can make it go in, out, as far as you want, as close as you want when you're gluing that one. Okay. Now this is where you're going to take a little bit of Spanish moss and you're actually going to put this in here. I'm going to have you lay some underneath first. And I actually didn't even glue this on here. I actually just laid it in here because it's going to hold itself. Okay, so then I'm looking to see how I did that. How did I do that one? So that one, these are the same size, remember, so there's no right or wrong. I'm actually going to put him, and I actually got this one too close to here. So that being said, I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to glue this one here, and then I think we'll just do 1, 2, 3 like that, okay? So these are not going to overlay like the other one. These are just going to just kind of trickle on top of each other. So I'm going to go here next, and then hold that for a little bit so it dries. And if you wanted to, I mean, you could put this one over here. You could put it over here. What do you think? Should we do that? Or do we just go ahead and let it drape over here? Actually, I think I'm just going to let them just trickle like a little teardrop on this side. And then I'm going to hold that one there. And then we're going to attach some Spanish moss at the bottom. And since these are not being tri-folded, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue just a little bit. So that way they're not on top of each other. Remember, the excess, we'll just dump it off. I have to get my vacuum out, that's for sure. Okay, we're done with this glue, so make sure you always put the lid on it. I've got a little straggler here, so let's get rid of him. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take that black and we're going to put his eyes on. What a mess we make. Okay, so now it's time for the eyes, and if you want to give them eyebrows, you can. So you just go dot, dot, and I always like to wipe the bottom of that off so I don't end up getting it somewhere else. And then you can take this and you just go, and then if you want to go 1, 2, 3, and then go 1, 2, 3. Okay. There is his whiskers, okay? And now go and take your dryer. There's that. And then you're gonna go ahead and and I probably gave you a lot more of this than what you really needed. But just saying, if you wanted to do something different, I want to make sure you had plenty of material for that. Okay. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this and you are going to tie it. And I'm actually going to tie it on this side because we already have enough weight on this side over here because we have all of our carrots. And if you wanted to, you could probably make the bow here instead, but I want it down here. Okay. His eyes may be a little damp yet, so I'm going to dry that one more time. Because, good golly, we do not want to make a mess with his eyes. And I'm going to look in the bottom of my bag to see if I remember to put his button in here. Everybody should have gotten a button. And then next thing you know is you're just going to go ahead and take that, and let's double this one. So just go ahead and take that material, and then we are going to take another piece. Gonna make the bow just a little bit bigger this time. And then we're just gonna pull that through and just tie it. And we'll knot it. I really don't think I have a button in the bottom of my bag. So I'll have to go glue his button when I get to the store. Okay, and then just go ahead and cut those at corners, whatever length you want them to be. And then kind of just spread that out, and then just kind of make sure that your cuts are about the same. This one needs to be a little bit shorter over here. And then we're going to glue that on right there. And this one may not need to have a button because I made my twists and my ties bigger than what I had on my first one. So kind of hold that down, and then go ahead and leave those longer. in my bag. Okay, that is our Rustic Blueprints for Easter. How do you like him? He's all done. And the next thing you need to know is if you like the gray bunny or do you like the bleached sand bunny. We'll have to do a this or that on Friday. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in today. Again, if you are not with our Rustic Blueprint family and you would like to jump on board, please go to our website and go to rusticpatch.com and join today. And again, this is a project you cannot get. This is already done and over with, but you don't want to miss out on what's coming up for next month. Okay, thank you guys. Have a great day and have fun making your bunnies for your February Rustic Blueprint box. Bye guys.